The episode opens with a cold, eerie silence over the remnants of Manhattan's Upper East Side. Fog curls around rusting cars and shattered windows. A soft breeze carries the moaning of distant walkers. The camera moves slowly to show Maggie standing at the edge of an overpass, staring down at a courtyard where a group of walkers has formed a loose circle around what looks like a pile of debris. But it's not debris, it's a human body shredded. She stares, eyes narrowing, not with horror, but recognition. Flashback. We are taken to 3 days earlier. Maggie and Ginny had been separated from Negan after a shootout with the Croats' remaining loyalists. They took shelter in an old, underground subway tunnel, hoping to loop around the city. In the flickering light of their fire, Maggie tells Ginny about her time in the hilltop, about Herschel, and about how things change when you lose enough people. You start keeping score in your head, she says, like tally marks on a wall. Only the wall is your heart. Back to the present. Maggie walks down into the courtyard and begins inspecting the body. From the tattoos and gear, she realizes this is one of the men who had been tracking her the night before. A message has been carved into his chest with something sharp. The siren rises. Maggie mutters it aloud, unsettled. She hadn't heard that name in years. Meanwhile, Negan and Tommaso navigate a broken section of the sewer system. They've discovered that the Croats' forces have started regrouping under a new leader known only as the Siren. Rumors say she is a former Whisperer general who took the teachings of Alpha and twisted them even further. Her army doesn't just use masks, they wear the flayed skin of the dead and blend in through horrifying rituals. Negan chuckles, calling it some next-level psycho cosplay, but the tension behind his eyes betrays his concern. The sewer echoes with water drips, the creak of distant metal, and the occasional growl. Tommaso asks about Maggie. You still trust her? Negan pauses. I don't trust anybody. But I owe her something. For Herschel. For Glenn. Tommaso nods. And when that debt's paid? Negan doesn't answer. Cut to a high-rise tower controlled by the Siren. We see her for the first time. Her face is half covered in stitched walker skin, and her voice is soft, melodic, and utterly chilling. She speaks to a room full of acolytes, chanting in unison. They're planning a mass cleansing of the city. Anyone who hasn't taken the oath of silence will be hunted and purged. It's cultish, intense, and organized. She tells them the dead don't scream. The dead obey. And we are dead already. Back to Maggie, who is now joined by Ginny and Amaya, the former bar owner turned fighter introduced in episode 1. The three make their way to an abandoned radio tower to try and send a message to any survivors nearby. On the way, they're ambushed by children, young, feral, armed with knives and stones. Maggie is stunned by their behavior. They're fast, silent, and coordinated. Amaya takes a slash across her arm but manages to knock one out cold. They tie up the unconscious boy and interrogate him. He won't speak but eventually starts humming the same melody the Siren's followers chanted. Ginny recognizes the tune and recoils. That's the song the Whisperers sang when they were marching with the dead. Maggie's face hardens. The Siren's real and she's recruiting. Meanwhile, Negan and Tommaso climb out of the sewer into what used to be a jazz club. The walls are plastered with blood-painted symbols, circular spirals, and handprints. It's clear this was a site of a ritual. Negan says it looks like a satanic zombie Woodstock. Then they hear it, a haunting tune played on a wind-up music box. Following the sound, they find a girl, no older than 12, sitting alone at a piano. She doesn't look infected, but her skin is smeared with ashes. She offers them tea calmly. They sit bewildered. She calls herself Echo. The Siren saved me, she says. She says the world is not sick. People are. And she makes them better. Tommaso leans in, trying to reason with her, but Echo's expression shifts. She's not just a child. She's been conditioned. Indoctrinated. She speaks of the Ascension, an event where the living will shed their names and voices and join the true march. As she speaks, more followers enter. Silent, masked, armed. Negan curses. Should have known it was a trap. They fight. Chaos ensues. Tommaso is stabbed in the leg. Negan grabs a steel pipe and crushes a follower's skull, then knocks over the piano to block the doorway. He scoops up Tommaso and they escape through the broken kitchen window. Cut to Maggie's group arriving at the radio tower. They find the equipment damaged, but Ginny manages to rewire part of the system. Just as Maggie begins to speak into the mic, she hears a voice, "You're too late." It's pre-recorded, but it plays in a loop. The voice is the Sirens, broadcast across different frequencies. It details plans to create harmony, a post-apocalyptic utopia ruled by the silent. Suddenly, sniper fire shatters the window. A group of Siren followers ambush the building. Amaya is hit in the shoulder. Maggie and Ginny return fire, then leap down a fire escape. As they flee, the tower explodes, likely rigged with a trap. They watch from a rooftop as smoke and flames fill the skyline. Maggie whispers she wants us to know she's everywhere. Later that night, Maggie and Ginny take refuge in an old library. Maggie finds a worn children's book titled The Whispering Woods. She gives it to Ginny, saying it's not safe now, but one day it might be. Ginny hugs her silently. Maggie reflects aloud, we thought the Croat was the worst this city had to offer. But the siren? She's not just building an army. She's building a belief. Negan and Tommaso, now back underground, find a hidden safe house operated by Marshal Pearlie Armstrong, last seen injured but recovering. He updates them, the siren has taken control of several boroughs and is moving toward the old UN compound. Her endgame may be political, symbolic dominance of what once was world leadership. The final scene shows the siren performing a ritual. A chained follower kneels before her. She places a flayed walker mask over his face. Speak no more, she says, slicing his cheek. He accepts the pain. The others chant louder. Then she turns toward the camera as if addressing us, the world that died was a lie. The silence that follows is truth. Character highlights and arcs in episode 2 *. 1. Maggie Green, she continues to harden, driven by the search for Herschel and the guilt of past decisions. She's suspicious, strategic, and unwilling to repeat mistakes. Her maternal side is still present with Ginny, but she's becoming a hardened urban survivor. 2. Negan Smith, struggling with past sins, Negan's sarcasm masks a growing sense of responsibility. He's wary of cult-like movements like the Sirens and knows from experience how charismatic leaders can turn people into monsters. 3. Ginny, the silent girl, is evolving. Her trauma remains raw, but she's learning to survive, repair tech, and navigate adult horrors. Her connection to Maggie deepens, though she misses the simplicity of her early time with Negan. 4. The Siren, a compelling new villain. Charismatic, terrifying, and mysterious, she takes Whisperer ideology and transforms it into spiritual warfare. She speaks of silence, but her actions scream terror. 5. Tommaso and Amaya, once side characters, they're becoming key players. Both suffer injuries this episode, raising the stakes. Tommaso's faith in alliances weakens while Amaya's resolve sharpens. Themes in episode 2 *. Silence versus noise, a symbolic conflict. The siren believes silence purifies, while Negan and Maggie represent the chaos of emotion, memory, and sound. Children of War, both Echo and the Feral Children show how the young are shaped and twisted by trauma and ideology. Belief is weapon, the siren's cult shows how, in the absence of government, belief systems, no matter how dark, fill the void. Closing narration spoken by Maggie over a montage. There was a time when monsters looked like monsters. You could see the blood on their hands, smell the death on their breath. But now they hide behind masks. Behind hymns. Behind hope. Maybe the world didn't end with fire and teeth. Maybe it ended the moment we started calling madness salvation. As the screen fades to black, we hear the same haunting tune from Echo's piano, now playing faintly on a loop.